Well, hi.
I'm like now astounded every single time we go live and I see how vibrant Mr. Moore has gotten our camera. It looks so good. I'm just so proud of how awesome the live streams look compared to a couple years ago. Happy Friday, guys. I've got several things that I want to talk about today. In fact, I actually had notes that I didn't pull up. If you could just pop up Trello for me. Etsy has been making updates nonstop. If you haven't been following the Friday Bean, if this is your first time here, first of all, welcome. But if there's any updates that I don't cover today, please just know that I probably covered them last week. This week, we're focusing primarily on the Chat GPT partnership with Etsy. However, there were a couple other updates that I wanted to kind of squeeze in alongside that, just because there's some interesting stuff that I feel like we need to talk about that didn't really, it's not something that I feel I could like title the whole video for. So today we're going to be focusing on the Chat GPT stuff because it is so significant. But there's a couple other things that I also want to chat about as well. We made some updates over at eRank to provide you guys with some more insights. Etsy announced that we now have the ability to utilize 20 photos for our listing, so we'll talk a few minutes about that. And we also, I think as of yesterday, most sellers now have the Marketplace Insights tool within Etsy, so that's really cool. That is the keyword data that's coming directly from Etsy for 30 days. It is lacking quite a bit of substance. We had, sorry, my allergies are so bad today. We had someone yesterday say that they were looking up the keyword sexy Halloween costume, and Etsy was like, yeah, we don't have any data on that. Like, yeah, you do. Yeah,
yes, you do.
But and that one could be understandable because the word sexy, I guess. But we also, when Anthony Wolf over at eRank and I were playing around with the tool, he put in black Halloween hoodie, which seems like a pretty standard thing. And Etsy was saying that nobody was searching for that and there was no competition, which clearly that's not true. So it does seem that Etsy's censoring some things. I don't know. We've had a couple weird little instances like this pop up, but overall the data is good. Will you stop? The data is good. I just feel like on its own, it's like the appetizer, right? Etsy's given us a little appetizer. So, first and foremost, if you guys saw the title of this video, Chat GPT, in the 2 weeks since the partnership, it's been a little less than 2 weeks since they announced that they would be partnering with Etsy, they have become Etsy's #1 referral. What's really significant about that, can you go ahead and share your screen? If we go into the sites tool over at eRank, and this is something that we discovered yesterday while Pam and I were streaming, and we go to Etsy.com,
Michael boy,
and we scroll down.
that's it.
Top referring sites, Chat GPT is above PayPal. That is crazy that it has popped up that quickly. So I think that it's really interesting that it's becoming popular this fast. It isn't something that we can go ahead and stop sharing. It isn't something that I think that anyone expected to take off as quickly as it did. For those who missed the update, in a nutshell, you can go to Chat GPT and you can basically prompt it and it will give you some things from Etsy. So if you went to Chat GPT and you wanted to be really specific with your search, so, for example, if you were looking for something on Etsy and you kept getting search results that didn't fit your exact query, or you were getting a bunch of junk that like wasn't handmade, you can go to Chat GPT and make that search, and Chat GPT will help to refine your results to get you closer to what you're actually looking for. Are you logged in?
To what?
To Chat GPT on this browser?
No.
No. I wanted to do a little run through with it. I mean, we don't have to. I can see the stress radiating off of you. Don't worry about it.
I have to log into my email, then log into Chat GPT, authenticate. I would rather not.
Don't worry about it. So when Pam and I experimented with this feature, what we primarily did was we went in and we were trying to trick it. We were trying to see if we could give it like some challenging questions. So we went in and I gave it some pictures of my dog, Sugar Bear. And I said, every time I go to Etsy and look for a Chihuahua themed product, I can't find anything that looks exactly like my dog. My dog is white. She's a long-haired Chihuahua with light brown spots. Do you need to take him upstairs?
I might, yeah.
He's being very obnoxious. She has light brown spots, and unlike most Chihuahuas, she has floppy ears. Here are 3 pictures of her. Help me find some listings that might, look like my dog. And basically, it scanned all of Etsy. It, looked at photos. We did confirm that Chat GPT reads our alt text. So that's something to consider when filling your alt text out, how you can more accurately describe the unique features and qualities of your images. If I'm looking for a floppy-eared Chihuahua, that might be something when you put alt text, if you're selling a floppy-eared Chihuahua product, a white Chihuahua with floppy ears, for example. He's over by me. So what it did was it went through and it tried to give me some search results, but it didn't give me anything that actually fit Sugar Bear specifically. It gave me ideas for custom listings. It said, like, I can't find anything based specifically on your query. But here are some custom options for sellers who might be able to make a replica based on your specific dog, or, a print with a photo of your specific dog. So, I mean, I think that it's pretty cool. And then the thing that really makes this because ChatGPT's always been able to do that, but the thing that makes the partnership significant is that directly through ChatGPT, you can click on a listing in ChatGPT and you can purchase from that specific listing right within ChatGPT, which is, I assume, is where that referral data is coming through. So you'll see the listings there. You can click on one, and then you'll have basically an Etsy listing within ChatGPT without ever having to go to Etsy. You can pick your variations. You can basically enter your customizations and all of the things that you would normally do in an Etsy listing. You can do all that directly in ChatGPT and place that order within ChatGPT. So I just think that it's really interesting that this is the direction of shopping. During our live stream with Pam, I think it was, Pam, was it 2 weeks ago? Debbie, you're here. Was it 2 weeks ago? We kind of ran through the full process, and I said that it would be really beneficial for individuals who might have a disability where they're not able to articulate in a search bar what they're looking for. I was thinking about like older people who might not know how to type, or, they're just not good with tech. They could potentially talk to their phone and say, this is what I'm looking for. And then ChatGPT will curate that list for them. Yesterday during our eRank Q&A, I told Pam that I can almost bet within 1 year, there will be some type of app, if it doesn't exist already, that is essentially ChatGPT specifically as a shopping assistant, where you can really like narrow down. Maybe you throw in a bunch of colors, or you go, and you have a bunch of different pictures of things that are kind of like what you want, but not exactly. Maybe you're looking for a special rug and you've got 3 pictures of rugs and you're like, I want this design similar to this, but I want it to be the shape of this rug over here, but I want it to be the color of this third rug. Can you find anything similar to this? As of right now, before AI, there was nothing that could do that. Now, whether you're for AI or against AI, I don't personally see myself, utilizing something like this unless I absolutely can't find what I'm looking for. But when we see that Chat GPT is the biggest referral for Etsy, that tells me that this is something that people are quickly adopting, and it's only going to get quicker, especially when we look at the complaints from individuals, shoppers, who say that they can't ever find what they're looking for on Etsy. And I see that a lot. Anytime I do like an Etsy update video that goes viral, believe it or not, about 20% of the comments that I get on videos like that aren't from sellers. They're from shoppers who just love shopping on Etsy and they want to know like what the news with Etsy is. And they'll even comment and say, not a seller, I'm a shopper, and I'm finding it increasingly difficult to discover what I want to buy. Or, all I am seeing anymore are things that I know that I can get on Temu or Amazon. Now that there is a way to kind of filter out the noise, we might potentially see more people utilizing this in the future. I think it's going to be a very specific type of person who wants to use something like this, who doesn't want the big page of search results. I like a big page of search results. I like to see lots of items. I like to compare on my own. I like to open lots of tabs and explore and read. But someone who just wants something quick, they want something precise. Again, I could see the benefits here. What are your opinions on it, of the shopping utilizing
agentic AI?
Yeah.
Again, I think for the sake of accessibility, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Like disabilities and older people.
I'm curious to see algorithmically over time, especially if it becomes a give and take relationship. Like, obviously, OpenAI is going to have a better understanding of shopping, like from a data perspective, than Etsy will ever be able to do, because their platform is data reconstruction, right? So if they share that data with Etsy, then their algorithm could be better, more accurate. It could also, I don't know. There's negatives that can come along with that. We won't get into all that, but I think for the sake of accessibility, it's a good thing. I don't like that it's just going to be mostly normal people using it. But a lot of people aren't good at searching for what they want.
Right.
Let's talk about people getting like anniversary gifts for their partners and how bad they are at it. Like it's been a meme forever, right? It's still that way. If you can put in a little bit of information about what your spouse likes, Chat GPT might be able to do the job that your brain literally isn't capable of doing. So, give or take, I guess.
Yeah. And I do like like when I was doing my search for dog themed products that looked like my dog, where I could just put in a bunch of pictures of my dog and say, here are pictures of her, find something close to this. It was interesting. Again, not something that I see myself, because I just like having a search page. But I think that as time moves forward, whether we like it or not, this is going to become the norm. Now, will it ever replace traditional search? I don't know about that. I think that Etsy would create their own. I feel like Etsy would create their own shopping assistant before they'd allow somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like someday shopping sites might end up having, I think Amazon does. Don't they have like an AI shopping assistant right on the screen that you can use? Yeah. And I don't use it.
I don't use it. I don't use Chat GPT for shopping either, unless I'm looking for something really niche that's like not on Amazon. Something
and
I'm
you
only
can't find it anywhere.
Right, something I'm only going to find on a third-party site with somebody who thought of some edgy hipster name to their business that I'm never going to be able to come up with because it has nothing to do with the thing that they're selling. That's just kind of how it is.
And I want to know more about how it identifies which listings to choose. So there's a couple different factors that I'm assuming that it utilizes. I had a meeting with one of our bigwigs at eRank yesterday, and we talked a lot about this partnership and the things that he's researching, because he's really big with the Chat GPT stuff. Debbie, it's Craig. I'm sure that you know that. He's been spending a lot of time looking into it. He's really on the data side and the development side and programming. Like, that's how he likes to use it. So he's really curious about how shoppers might utilize it. And one of the things that we discussed yesterday were some of the factors that we believe Chat GPT might be utilizing in order to select listings. Obviously, photos, we know that Chat GPT is getting really, really good at looking at pictures and figuring out what they are and identifying. It's not the best at generating images yet. I mean, it's getting better, clearly. but it's not the best at, generating a perfect image, but it can read an image and look at an image really easily. So there's that. One thing I will note is that when you do the shopping with Chat GPT, as of right now, it only shows your first 3 images in a listing. You can't browse all 10 or 20
there might be a legal thing with that.
But that just tells me that if you are a seller and you are trying to optimize for Chat GPT, just be aware that if you have an essential image for your listing that the customer needs to see, but it's your 5th image, they're not going to see it. So Chat GPT specifically, you only see, I think, 3 images. And I'm assuming they're the first 3 images. But some of the things that we believe that Chat GPT is looking at are your photos, probably the first 3, I'm going to assume, just because that's what it's showing. It might look at more, but I'm assuming that it's looking at those and analyzing them. Your alt text, we already know that it looks at alt text, so make sure that you're not keyword stuffing it. Chat GPT is way smarter than that. You can have an nearly incomprehensible babble with Chat GPT. In fact, Mark did that this morning while he was driving because, he didn't want to type and drive, but he had a question for it about local laws that we just, thought of while we were driving. And he just kind of like babbled to it for a few minutes, and it was able to figure out what he was asking and formulate a response.
Yeah.
So I think that done are the days, maybe not done, nearly done are the days of any necessity to get as many keywords as possible into a listing. Obviously, you need to optimize your tags, fill out all of your tags, but like trying to get as many characters as possible in your title, trying to shove a bunch of keywords in your alt text, trying to max out all of your materials, these have never been good practices, but people still do them. When we talk about something as advanced as Chat GPT, it is relying on human language.
Yes.
It's not like up until now, we have been talking to computers, and computers only know how to look for patterns in words. Whereas Chat GPT, it is literally artificial intelligence.
Well, it's close to it. It's not.
Right. But there is a level of intelligence there that can figure out, even if you are not, even if you're writing things as a sentence, there is a lot of context, and it can really pick up based on context. So when it comes to actually ranking listings for Chat GPT, I think that it's going to be the clarity and context that is going to be the number one factor that determines what Chat GPT selects as a good listing. So basically doing what you should have been doing from the beginning, what Etsy has always told us to do, make sure that you're writing for people, make sure that you are writing in, nice sentences, don't keyword stuff, use natural language. These have always been best practices, but now I think we're finally hitting the point where the computers are reading things like people would. And
to an extent, yes.
Right, but I'm saying that I think that when it comes to ranking, ChatGPT might skip over listings that are just keyword stuff because it can identify.
I have no idea how they do that kind of thing. The only problem is, and what I will say, don't ever take this as a chance to be lazier with your listings.
Oh no, you should be putting more time in.
Well, simply because as of right now, as far as I'm aware, they haven't figured out a solution to this. AI is actually getting dumber. So its reasoning skills are getting better. They're training it to reason with the information that it's being given. But we're in this conundrum where, because AI is creating more than half of the content on the internet, it's training off of itself. It's in an unfortunate echo chamber. So when
the Ouroboros of the internet.
Exactly. Well, I mean, there's a lot of dead internet theory coming out right now about how bad the internet's doing because of AI. But unfortunately, the creators don't even really have a full grasp of how it works, because it's at a certain point you have to give it data and let it go. Like there's a point where human beings can no longer like intentionally feed it information. They just have to attempt to curate the information they give it before they give it to it, and then let it do its thing. So don't use it as an excuse to get dumber, because there's always the chance that this tech is going to go away.
And it makes things up. I mean, we know that it makes things up.
Oh, yeah, it's wrong more than half of the time. Even a simple thing this morning, I was asking, we were watching Adventure Time, and there was a note that was written on a door, and I asked it what that note said, and instead of giving me what the note said, it said what a character said the note said. Like, it assumed that I wanted the script for the video, not the thing in it, even though I had given it explicit instructions to do the opposite. So it can be wrong, and more often than not, and more commonly, I'm finding myself having to correct it. Almost every single time I give it a prompt, and I'm not talking about like low-level prompts. Like if you're getting cooking recipes and stuff like that,
it's probably fine.
It's spot on like 99% of the time. But if you're asking it a high-level question about, like, let's say a piece of tech, it doesn't consider all of the variables anymore. It doesn't consider like, oh, well, this is the downside, this is the upside, here's this, here's that. It seems more concerned in making you comfortable in the answer that it provides than providing an entirely accurate answer.
Which is sometimes dangerous.
Which is absolutely sometimes dangerous, because I was over here overclocking my computer, and some of the advice that it was giving me was like real bad, like start a fire in your house bad. So I don't know. I still think that people should continue to optimize their shops in the way that they always have, continuing to go along with trends. If there are things that are absolutely like, do this so Chat GPT can recognize you better, if we get like official information on that, you should probably follow that advice.
Not to mention,
it does not think logically. Remember that. It is still okay. Here's the AI thing. Computers think in yes or no. There are no maybes when it comes to computers as of right now. Quantum computing comes in when you get the maybes. So as of right now, it can still only do yes or no's. It can build kind of maybes based on those yeses or no's, but it can't think logically. That's like BHR had said it can't design crochet patterns, because it can't. It can know what a shape is, but it cannot understand what a shape is. Does that make sense? So it's not able to render complex, intelligent thought because it isn't a thinking thing. It is just an algorithm that is extremely fast at pulling from a web of data, taking that information, looking at reviews of the information or conversations within, and determining what's real and what isn't. And it does its best job to take all the best bits of information, combine that into a solid thought, and give it to you. Nothing about it is thinking. Nothing about it is logical thought. There's no reasoning skills. That's why it can be wrong. So as it evolves and it continues training itself, it's either going to get better or worse. Thankfully, NVIDIA just invested like $10 billion into OpenAI, and Google, I don't know how anybody's forgot about this, came out with quantum computer chips like 2.5 years ago that just kind of went over their heads, that said could render so much data that it could render the entire universe in like a couple of seconds. So that technology exists, and I'm sure eventually, once it's mainstream, will be involved in these processes, and then AI can, if it's given it, I think there's like some moral reasons why they're not putting this technology into AI yet, because if it can start to reason, things can get dangerous really, really fast. Anybody here who's watched a movie about technology understands. So do your shop, long story short, do your shop the way you've always done it.
Yeah, not to mention a lot of the sources that it utilizes. So I had somebody say that when I made my video last week talking about how we confirmed with Etsy, we spoke to Etsy over at eRank, that Etsy has not changed the algorithm. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but my sales tanked. Yeah, because all of e-commerce is down right now. I can pull the graphs up again if you guys need to see them. I've shown them like the last 4 live streams that I've done. But e-commerce as of mid-September, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, it's all down. That has nothing to do with Etsy. The thing that drives me the most crazy is people in my comments that are like, I disagree. And I'm like, okay, you can disagree, but supply me some reasoning. Your anecdotal shop evidence is not means to disagree. Like, give me, if you're talking to somebody who literally works in data and science, give me a valid argument. I'm always happy to listen to it, but say, I disagree. Like, that is the most uneducated thing that someone could do.
Every single problem in our country and our economy stems from somebody saying, I disagree with you, with no statistical facts to back it up.
Right, like
the biggest problem on the internet is AI, because more than half of traffic on the internet, everybody you argue with about politics on Facebook, half of those people
aren't even real.
Are AI. And we've come to this point in arguing where no one has discussions anymore. They just throw accusations at each other without providing any real data. Yeah. And it's insane. Stop thinking like that. If you're going to say I disagree, tell me why you disagree and provide like facts.
Right.
Please, because I'm just going to ban you. You're just not even worth having a conversation with. You're showing that you're so ignorant that you're incapable of logical thought. You're not worth having a conversation with.
Oh yeah, I don't even.
Yeah, we just ban them.
Right. But the point that I was making was that several people said, well, I think they asked Grok. It wasn't Chat GPT. I asked Grok, and I don't know who you talked to, but I asked Grok, and Grok told me that the Etsy algorithm did change. And I said, where do you think Grok got that information from?
Right, it's from idiots on the Etsy forums.
Right, it's Etsy YouTubers, it's Etsy bloggers, it's Etsy forums, it's people who haven't talked to Etsy, who are speculating, who are not looking at the broad scope of data of multiple marketplaces to see the patterns and analyze them. And they're saying, because my shop is doing bad and other Etsy sellers say their shop is doing bad, that means that Etsy changed the algorithm and didn't tell anybody.
No.
That isn't how you... You have to be able to look at all data sources. And unfortunately, just because somebody has a nice camera and makes nice YouTube videos, it doesn't mean that they've done their research. They've just spent a lot. Don't you look at me like that. I spend so much freaking time researching all of my content.
We research everything. We try to the fullest extent that we're capable.
I will research things, and if I have a topic that I'm not 100% certain on and I have like a script, I will always send that script over to be reviewed by the most intelligent people I know, which are Anthony Wolf over at eRank. Sometimes I'll have Pam look over things, and Brian over at eRank. I'll have them take another look. If there's ever a time when I am unsure, I will always make sure that I am reviewing it with the individuals who I know will be able to give me a good answer. And then, if I'm not 100% sure, or if I'm speculating, I always let you guys know, like, this is just either my opinion or this is me speculating. When it comes to the advancement of Chat GPT and how shopping is going to look in the future, it's purely speculation. But the speculation is based on how fast this tech is developing, how quickly things went from that really awful AI generated video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. That
was like 2 years ago. It
was like awful, and it didn't even look like, a person. And now I'm seeing videos in like Sora videos in my news feed, and I have to the moment that I realize that they're AI, I scroll past them as quickly as possible, because if you sit and watch it, you're just going to get more of them, and I don't want to see a bunch of AI
They're
crap.
so hyper realistic, it's not even funny.
Right, there was one I showed him the other night of this woman jumping on cars, and I thought, when I first saw it, I'm like, look at this crazy lady jumping on cars, and then I realized it had the Sora logo, and I'm like, oh, it's AI. But, I had to show it to him just because I'm like, look at this stupid video that tricked me.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get better, because only 2 years.
Or worse.
Or worse, right? 2 years, that's insane. The amount of progress that AI has made in those 2 years. What are the next 2 years going to look like, assuming that laws are not adapted to regulate, which honestly...
They're not gonna.
I know, but I think we can all agree that it would be beneficial if they did. But the can of worms is already open.
Right, without being too terribly specific, in the last 2 weeks, the current administration has been caught using AI for everything multiple times.
Right.
And it's AI slop too. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, things that needed to be fact checked.
The fact that the people that would be enforcing the laws are actively using it and being caught actively using it, that's not going to get regulated anytime soon. It's only going to get worse, actually.
Can you activate the extension for me?
What extension?
I've got it all up on the screen. Just look at the screen and you'll figure it out.
What?
It's the eRank extension. I have to show something with it, and it's not installed on this browser.
I I hit the key to do it. It's not doing anything.
I don't know what to tell you. We need to activate it.
Don't you have to be on eRank for it to work?
No, you have to be on Etsy. It needs to be up in the bookmarks bar beside the extension button right there. I don't know how to actually do it. Click around and see if you can figure it out. Yeah, when you do that, the actual extension box disappears. But anyway, so multiple people have mentioned my makeup. My high school reunion is tomorrow, and I'm wearing an emerald dress, and I've been trying to decide how I'm going to do my makeup. So yesterday during eRank Q&A and today, I'm just playing with my makeup, trying to decide what I'm going to do with it. So I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys noticed. That tells me that I'm doing something right.
It's not in the store anymore.
It is. Yes, it
okay,
is.
Well, no, it ain't.
I think it's called eRank SEO.
That shouldn't matter.
Can you go to eRank? Oh my goodness. Give me just a minute, guys. I have something really cool I want to show you.
Hit not now, please. There we go.
Extension. Says that it's
okay. Let's remove it.
Okay, and you go through the process and see if you can get it. So anyway, with the Chat GPT stuff, we'll answer some questions about that towards the end. I do have a couple other things that I want to cover before we get into questions. The other big update, obviously, the 20 photos now as opposed to 10. I talked about this yesterday. We talked about it for eRank Q&A. The number of people who are upset about 20 photos, it's kind of astounding because basically what Etsy has said is, you've got your ice cream sundae in front of you, and Etsy's like, here's a little container. Here, you got it. Here's a little container of sprinkles. You can use these sprinkles if you'd like to. And people are just like, how dare you give me sprinkles? You don't have to use them. The number of photos is not factored into search placement. A lot of people have said, like, oh, that's overkill. Then you don't need to use all 20. However, there are plenty of sellers who have said things like, oh, this is perfect because I offer like a lot of variations. 20 photos is exactly what I need. So that's a positive thing. It's not factored into the algorithm. You don't have to fill out all 20. It is there for those who might need those extra photos. So just
right. And I mean, the thing is, it gives you more opportunities to kind of be free with what you want to use. Front of the item, left of the item, right of the item, back of the item, bottom, top, size perspective, size comparison, holiday details, care details. Like there are so many things that you can do with those photos.
Holiday shipping deadlines. Let's see what else. How your product comes packaged. Care instructions. There's so many different ways that you could utilize. And there have been several listings that I have had where I have kind of wished that I had more character, or not character, but photo slots, just because, the nature of whatever product I'm listing, I've needed more, but it's not like it's something that is, essential that you have to do. So let's see. All right. Let me show you guys.
Make sure you have your password thing closed over here.
Yeah, give me just a minute.
You don't have to fill them all in. Don't worry about if you struggle to fill the 10.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Continue doing what you're doing. And if you think of more ideas to add stuff, you've got the space to do it.
Yeah. Just a extra. All right, can you go ahead and share? So, this is the shop that Michelle and I run together. Don't judge me. We don't put time into it. It's just a little passion project. But now we have, hopefully most of you have Marketplace Insights. A couple things that we learned about Marketplace Insights were that Etsy Plus people who pay for an Etsy Plus subscription, you guys get unlimited searches. However, those who don't have Etsy Plus, we are limited to 15 searches a week, which isn't great. So basically, Marketplace Insights, if you just got access to it, it will allow you to do some keyword searches and you get the last 30 days worth of data. There are a lot of terms that for some reason Etsy just isn't giving you data on. We had that, sexy Halloween costume and black Halloween hoodie or something like that. It wouldn't populate any data, which is kind of odd. Let's try Halloween decor and let's just see. So basically what you see here is the last 30 days of data. Now, I really like this simply because, why did I go from 14 queries to 12 queries? How odd. I really like this because there are no other sources where you can get day-by-day data. So this is like having a little microscope. Pretty cool. Cool that we have that little microscope worth of data. However, I don't recommend anybody make strategical shop decisions based on 30 days worth of data, simply because when it comes to making those decisions, you should be looking at, at least 12 months worth of data. 30 days is just not enough. So that's one of my number one issues with it. There's also no click-through rate. There's no conversion data. We have no idea, how hard it is to rank for these keywords.
Yeah, that's a good point. Leela said maybe it counts per word. Halloween is 1, decor is 1. We'll test. Let's test that after, because that's garbage.
All right, so I need that extension back up. Okay. So what we've done over at eRank this week is we have added something new to the extension, if it will load. There we go. So when you are on this page, we basically filled in the gaps that Etsy wasn't giving to us based on, based on this data. So we've given you the click-through rate. That way, if people are searching for Halloween decor, how many of those individuals are actually clicking on the listings that show up on the search page. And we've also created a little formula for keyword difficulty. Our smart people created a formula based on the competition and the searches on how difficult it will be to rank for that keyword. I actually haven't read the tooltip that they wrote. Let me see. Keyword difficulty shows you the ratio between search volume and competition. The lower the number, the less competition there is for this keyword versus search volume, indicating a possible opportunity in the marketplace. So, very interesting. We also added in that search trend graph for the 15 months because, again, like 30 days, that's really interesting. We can see that nice big spike for September of 2025, especially compared to last year. Wow, people are really into the Halloween decor on Etsy. But, I feel like this data here is more significant to me. This is cool. It's cool to see this. What's even cooler is seeing that September of last year, we had 24,000 searches, almost 25,000 searches. And this year, look how much it shot forward for the month of September. So really interesting. We also added in the country data, which I feel is extremely important, especially for those of you who no longer ship to the United States. If you go in here and you see that, the US, the dark blue, makes up a majority of the search trend pie, you know that, oh crap, there's no market for this particular type of product in the countries that I'm selling to because it's mostly people in the US and I'm not currently shipping there. So, just some good to know data. And we have also, for all of these little suggested terms that Etsy gave you, we added the click-through rate and the keyword difficulty for those terms as well. And you can also go in and take these terms and add them directly into your keyword lists. That way, while you're working within eRank, you do have the ability to go in and, learn more about them and maybe save them for later. So, obviously, something that we are working on right now, everybody should have access to this if you already utilize the eRank extension. But if you play around with it and you have some feedback or suggestions, or there's a way that, you feel like we could make it better, just click on this little button. Our chat support girls are literally live, during the day. Send them a message and they will pass it over to our dev team. So I hope that this is something that will help you guys kind of fill in the gaps that Etsy hasn't fully filled in, based on what they've given us. This is good. I love seeing this 30-day data. It's cool. It's the only place you can get this, because obviously only Etsy has their 30-day data. There's no way that we can get our hands on that. But I want more. So let us know what you guys think of this. You can go ahead and stop sharing.
Somebody had said they want... I wish Etsy would spend more time giving us better ways to grow sales, like a true email platform within Etsy. That's never going to happen.
Yeah,
the problem with that, well, there's liability there. So like, who's to say somebody that uses your mail platform isn't going to send some like Epstein style content through their email list? Like, then Etsy's personally liable, whereas like they can boot people, but there's still a sense of liability there. There's validation with email demons and like all different kind of things that go into that. That's never going to happen. They might give you some like point and click, like ability to send stuff out to specific people maybe in the future, but that's not a huge focus because you can do email lists and social media on your own.
I would never want Etsy to host an email list, and here's why.
Never.
My email list, the reason that I teach my sellers, especially in Handmade Alpha Academy, we have like a step-by-step on setting up an email list legalities, how to get people on your list, emails to send, yada, yada. The reason that we teach that through MailChimp and not, anywhere else, I mean, you could use any mailing list service, but your email list is your layer of security in the event that Etsy were to shut down your shop. Because if you've got your most dedicated customers, the people who care about your business the most, the ones who are most interested in knowing if you're having sales, if you are launching new products, like your die-hard fans are on that email list. If Etsy were to deactivate your shop, hey, you've got an email list where, you can email everyone and say, oh, Etsy deactivated me. I've moved to Shopify. You can still buy my product here. And then you don't have to worry about, you'll probably lose a little traction, but you won't lose all of your customers.
And like people already don't like how in-depth their ban tool is. Imagine if Etsy was also scanning all of your emails for like reasons to ban you like they do with your products. Your shop name, some people's shop names alone would be enough to get them kicked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure that if your shop got banned, you would also lose your email list and all of your contacts that you worked so hard to get.
Let's keep that off platform. But that was a we understand why you would want that.
Right. I just think there are things that I like to give you guys perspective on the things. Like, I hear a lot of requests for things that people wish Etsy would do, and then, I would rather let you guys know like the downside just so you can be aware.
Oh, of course.
Because even if Etsy were to do it, I would still, with email list, I would not recommend people use it even if Etsy were to develop something like that.
Let's always assume Etsy at their worst during like banpocalypse just post-COVID, when they were just banning like at what seemed like everyone.
Yeah.
I have a feeling now that that's kind of settled down and they're not banning quite as many people, there's also fewer people talking about it. The feeling a lot more of those people were probably breaking the rules than what they were letting off. I feel like there was a little bit more of a, especially after us doing our little study that we did and showed that like 2/3 of them were in fact doing something wrong. Some of them doing things wrong on accident, like not actual, like just things like putting in your bank information wrong or.
And we won't say where. But we pinpointed most to a specific country.
Two countries,
yeah. 2 countries where people were getting mostly banned for breaking the rules. So, and I mean, those are the voices that are the loudest. The ones who are complaining are the ones who are people, you even,
oh yeah, 100%. You'll see it. It's probably not what you guys would expect. Actually, I was gonna say it's probably what you expect, but
no, country. No,
I was actually kind of surprised by it, but no, it's not. It's probably not what you think.
Anthony wasn't surprised. But he's able to see Etsy users through countries and know when there's like an influx of one country. Like, he has like different data. So he wasn't surprised, but I was.
People with cultures that have a sense of entitlement. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not what you would expect.
No, it's actually not what you would expect. But anyway, you guys are good to get questions in. I think we're pretty much done with the topic for the day. You guys can ask whatever you want. Doesn't have to be related to the topic at hand. And before anybody asks, I know a lot of people are probably assuming India, and it is absolutely positively not. Believe it or not, it's not.
Indian sellers can't create new shops right now.
They can't. There were quite a few of those. I will say that. However, there were just as many. I feel like they were just as many of those as there were like German and French, and like it
wasn't significant.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't significant enough to be a standout.
Yeah. Claudia said, but how do we create an email list from Etsy? I don't teach that here on my channel because there are so many legalities to creating an email list. There are so many steps involved. I exclusively teach email list stuff in the Handmade Alpha Academy. I know a lot of people hate that, but I can't control what people do if I just put information out on the internet. I will tell you where to go. My favorite is MailChimp. MailChimp's pretty simple. They have tutorials that you can follow. They have a YouTube channel that you can follow. You are free to wing it and set it up. Just make sure that you're being mindful of GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. Even if you don't live in the EU, you still have to abide by GDPR laws because you cannot stop someone from the EU joining your email list. So you have to know how to protect their data. You need to be mindful of the CAN-SPAM Act. That's another big one. There are email list etiquettes. You have to know how to set up your domain email, verify your domain through your email client. Otherwise, your emails aren't going to arrive. You have to know how to set up your DMARC, SPF, and DKIM records.
It's intentionally difficult for the sake of it. And it's actually like, if you look up like why it's so hard, it's supposed to be. Because if everyone was able to just get your emails going, could you imagine how awful your spam emails would be? Like, they're already pretty bad. My spam box is already pretty bad, but it's like the stereotypical stuff like, oh, you had a family member in Saudi Arabia die, send us 500,000. Like, that's just stupid stuff like that. Or, hey, you're a dude, you want some pills that, like, brick it? No, like, that's it. But could you imagine if every sick, demented pervert could just easily do this? Just sign up for an account and their emails would go to everyone not in their spam box? It would be awful. It's already bad, but if it was easy, it would be a lot worse.
There's just no way that I can teach it and then also be able to answer questions and help people who are doing it. And HAA students, like, I'm sure you guys can verify, like, if you've gone through the most recent updates with the DKIM, the SPF, the DMARC, the domain verification and all those updates that I made to HAA last year. Could you imagine that being in a YouTube video? There's no way. There's no possible way that I could do that and put it public. It's so much. So.
And I think, Abysswares, were you the one that asked us what camera we are using? So we have a Sony A7 III, the original, not the A7S III or anything like that. We have the original A7 III. We have a Sony GM2 lens. We use the f2.8 24 to 70 millimeter lens. And then lighting is also important. You have to have good lighting. But we use it's a mirrorless DSLR, digital DSLR camera.
What we got?
Haven't looked at it yet.
Evers Art Shop, were you here when we talked about photos? We gave a huge list of ideas for those 20 photos.
And the E-Rank stream yesterday also talked about it.
Yeah.
I'm just going up a little bit just to make sure I'm not missing anything. We do see the marketplace insights in the smaller shop that's less than 1,000 sales, but it's not a big shop.
But not in the big shop. Okay. Yeah, I think most people have it, but I think that
a lot of people said they don't.
Okay, so Etsy's still rolling it out.
They usually tend to roll things out in waves because I think in the past they've rolled out new features en masse and it's broken things. And it's easier for like if it breaks some things to only have like 10% of people have something broken than 100% of people.
Because then they get all the support emails and they already know that there's a problem. But
it's better to roll things out than just push it.
Yeah.
What do you think if they gave us more space for digital files, like to be able to upload 10 files up to 20 megabyte instead of 5 files? I don't know.
I've never
shoot them some emails.
Yeah.
Because if they're literally doubling the amount of storage space they have to hold images, they can definitely afford that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, you can always make suggestions to Etsy by, you can always reach out to them or comment on their social media. I've never sold digital, so I haven't hit any of the limitations of selling digital.
I mean, you said you guys caught almost all of them doing something wrong. Bro, I wish I could disclose some of the things that we found. Like the amount of people who...
We don't want it to lead to not racism. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's xenophobia.
Xenophobia.
Not that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the extent that people will go to sell from countries they're not allowed to sell from, including like I can't even. Man, I wish I could get into the details.
And the lies, they just lie, lying straight to us.
And it's insane. We're talking about schemes that are like hundreds of thousands of dollars in the making, with like multiple shops and multiple people from multiple countries. It's crazy.
Sweatshops.
It's like mob level activity. Like people. I cannot delve further into it because there's only like 3 of them, and they'll know if they're still here. They'll know we found you out. I didn't report anybody because it's supposed to be an unbiased thing, but like there were some international level crimes happening, and it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy what people will just willingly give you, not realizing that like Internet Archive exists. Like, if I can look at your shop from 5 years ago and I see that your entire shop was Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, and you're like, I don't know why my shop got shut down. And it's like, you really don't know why? You had 20,000 sales and the first 10,000 of them were all Mickey Mouse earrings. You have no idea why your shop got shut down? Anyway.
Yeah. I cannot believe the extent. There was a part of me that lost a little bit of hope in humanity by how... It's like the audacity of someone to tell me a sad story about how, like, oh, I lost my Etsy shop. I lost everything. I can't pay my bills. Like, I can't even help, I can't get my kids' school supplies. And then we dive in when we find out that literally none of that is true.
Right.
Not even a single bit of it, because they're a part of this big, like, massive...
multinational chain of sweatshops, and, like, it's freaking insane.
Trying to pull on our heartstrings because they think that we're going to help them get their little crime ring back.
No, it's insane.
That's why we didn't really, you guys will notice, like, when we did this, it was like, what, 2 years? 2 years last year? 2 years. I think it was 2 years ago.
Good Lord, I don't know. But Etsy's getting better at finding them. I've seen these people disappear.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely done better. But it was just... The thing was, we were in communication with Etsy at the time to try to help sellers get their shops back who were wrongfully suspended, which we did. We helped probably like 50 authentically handmade shops get reinstated.
The ones that we had like relatively unequivocal, factual, like they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. They just got caught in it. Are any of you here by chance? If anybody who we helped get your shop back, let us know. We can't do it now, though.
It's just kind of crazy how easy it is to see. Like, it's not, if you have a presence on the internet, it's not that hard to like find out who you are. Especially if you're someone who's so cocky that they don't cover their tracks. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's just because I used to be an analyst for the military.
I was gonna say, I think that you're just really.
But I wasn't using any like paid secret frickin' tools. I was using like
Wayback
Google and Wayback Machine, like.
Right. Yeah,
couple of Google Map searches, you know.
But please don't message. There's someone who
we can't do anything for you. Etsy literally knocked off the one guy that was in communication with us probably because he was.
Right. Yeah. I didn't say his name in any videos at the time. I didn't, say
only
who he was.
Only his title.
Yeah, and I was in direct communication, and then he ended up, I don't know if he was fired or moved on, but his LinkedIn says he doesn't work there anymore. So
right.
I have 0 ins with that side of Etsy. We do have an in with the dev side, but that's through eRank. So we can ask like algorithmic questions, but the customer support side, I've lost all connection with that now that he's not there anymore. Sucks.
Yeah, I wish we had more ins with Etsy, but the more they grow and the more corporate they become, the less likely that's going to be for us to be able to do anything. We're bigger YouTubers in the Etsy space, but we're still not famous, like to a point of having leeway against $1 billion company.
Right.
So, are they $1 billion company? Are they worth $1 billion?
I think so. Yeah. Frank.
Big enough. Quick E-rank question, if you don't mind. I do. Moving on. I'm a pro user. I'm a pro user and my sales map is blank. Is that because I'm selling digital only, or is it not showing where the user is even if it's not shipped?
I believe sales map is based on shipped products, but I'm not entirely sure. Debbie, are you still here? Frank, that might be a question for the team. I'm not entirely sure. I thought that sales map was based on where you're shipping products, but if it's, you can also, we'll wait and see if Deb, I don't think Pam is here, but you can wait and see if Deb is in the chat. You can also just click the little bottom right eRank logo. Someone yesterday said that logo looks like butt cheeks, and that's all I can think now.
Which logo?
The one directly behind us.
Yeah, kind of looks like butt cheeks.
Click the butt cheek logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Pop up the live chat with the girls. They should be online now. Say, hey, I'm coming from Starla's Friday Bean, and I've got a quick question. And
they need to put a little star right in the middle swirl.
No. And tell the girls that you had a quick question. And feel free to come back and let me know. They should be online, and they should answer pretty quick. Oh, Deb, wait. I think it's based on tracking number from shipping labels. That's what I thought. I'm going to say that that's probably what it is. I think I think it's based on where you're shipping to.
Amy said, I sell digital products and it shows the location of the purchaser on my sales map. So that's probably not true.
I thought it was based on tracking. Yeah, Frank, do me because if it's a bug with your account, that's something that the team needs to know. So just pop a message to the gals, tell them Starla sent you, and they'll either direct it to our smarty pants who can help figure out what's going on, or they can give you a better answer.
Do you have to have offsite ads on for Chat GPT and Etsy? Someone else said yes. I don't believe so.
No.
I'm pretty sure agentic AI doesn't give a crap what you want.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. You shouldn't have to have ads on because we were able to pull up listings from Pam's shop. We had to specify Pam's shop. We said, show us products from Ben McFuzzy Lugs shop.
Nope. So whoever told you yes is a liar, doesn't know what they're talking about.
Isn't that the case with most Etsy people on the internet anymore? I wish
it's not always the case. The thing is, a lot of times you're hearing things like fifth hand.
That's true. They heard it from somebody who heard it from someone who heard it.
And a lot of times there's an authority figure at the top who just it's the telephone game, right?
Right.
Somebody says, I think so, and four words down, it's, yeah, absolutely.
This is a fact. I hear that even from me, that people will say, Starla said, and I'm like, no, I said it might. Make sure that you quote me directly if you're going to. If you can quote me, but don't quote me wrong. People quote me wrong all the time.
Ooh.
I hate when people come to me and try to tell me what I said, and I'm like, where did I ever say that? Right. Well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I heard it. I'm like, you're pretty sure? Like, it's my mouth.
You're gonna affect my social ranking in society based on something you assume I said?
Right.
Are you stupid? Did the lead paint taste good as a kid?
Tastes like crunchy potato chips.
Tastes like crunchy. I can smell colors now. I tell Chat GPT what a picture is and ask it to do a better alt text description.
Yeah.
Is this a bad idea?
As long as you
proofread it.
Yeah, if you proofread it and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good, then sure, I guess that works. Most of it's all, I'm an SEO expert. Those messages that you get.
I wish we could show you our inbox. We should do that someday. Just clear our inbox of everything other than like, hey, I want to help you with HAA to get more students.
No, it's mostly that they will do a keyword search for Etsy and they will it's really embarrassing when it's eRank. The official eRank, like Instagram and stuff, we will get messages where they're like, I took a look at your Etsy shop and your products are beautiful. However, I noticed that your SEO could use some work. And I'm just like, how embarrassing that you messaged the official eRank.
It's not real.
Oh, of course it's a bot. But I just mess with them. I just love to mess with them. I'll just go on.
Ooh, Donna.
What? Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
No kidding.
And where it hurts.
Are you talking about a specific person who we know the name of she who shall not be named, that charges an arm and a leg for advice that is very not good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I've been using Square and Etsy to make in-person sales, and these sales do count as my total shop sales. Will selling a shop listing in person also raise its algorithm? I think in terms of Etsy, a sale is a sale.
Well, yeah, we actually tested this, raise its algorithm. I'm going to correct what you just said. You basically just said increase its math problem. That's not, you are increasing the listing quality score. The algorithm is the thing that decides where you get placed, but what you're talking about is your listing quality score. So does making a sale through Square, if it's connected to your Etsy listing and that quantity is being deducted from your Etsy shop while you're at that in-person event, will it help your overall listing quality score? There's nothing official from Etsy that says so. However, Amber Marie, one of our highest volume sellers to ever come out of Handmade Alpha Academy, she sells at like major dog events like Crufts, which anybody who knows, dog shows, Crufts is like the biggest one. She did notice when she was making those sales with her connected Square that it did help those listings. So because they are directly, deducting the quantity from your listing and signifying that as a sale, I would assume that it is contributing to your overall listing quality score, that Etsy is, taking note of that. I don't know how significant it is, but I'm just for now going to assume, just speculation, that it's going to probably help.
Somebody asked, do people really pay that much for Etsy guidance? So it is.
I can't even say anything.
Here's the thing. As a business, I don't necessarily disagree with the price. However, I don't know what's in.
I do, because I know it. I've had people tell me it's not good.
So there's different some big business stuff. Because I know most people here probably sell products in the $15 to $100 category. When you start getting into selling into the thousands, there are different tactics you use in order to engage people. And we do some of them. We try to stick away from most of the shady ones, and we've backed off a lot. The 10-day sales period that we do started as a scarcity tactic, and I mean, still technically works as a scarcity tactic, but is actually genuinely for our insanity.
We need a reprieve.
We need a reprieve, which that may change in the coming future. But perceived value is the other one. And that is what a lot of coaches who teach coaches how to coach, like people that we used to use who taught us how to get into the coaching industry. Perceived value is a big one. $8,000 sounds like a lot of money. However, what they're doing is instead of attempting to catch a lot of fish, they're catching a couple of big fish, which, there's different ways. But when it's in the thousands, you pick one and you stick to that lane. That's not the lane that we choose. We are going to be increasing our price. Absolutely, positively, we are going to be increasing our price just because that's what we have to do. But that's too much.
No, probably not December.
Probably not December. No, perceived value is a bit of a sketchier tactic. It's not necessarily abusive if you're following through with like what we do. We give a lot of stuff out for free. We give access to free programs. We could probably charge $8,000-$10,000 for our program and make about the same amount of money based on perceived value tactics. But we are not in this, like, obviously we're in this for money to an extent. Like, we have to live, and things get better or worse with politics. But we are also in the vein that I genuinely and she genuinely wants to see people succeed. And you can only help a select few people, and your chances of actually getting successful students goes dramatically down with the higher the price goes up, because the more you charge, you're only reeling in big fish. And now typically only, you know, those big fish who can afford that are also usually people who are already very successful. But when it comes to teaching Etsy content, if that's the case, they're already likely towards their peak of where they can be with their business if they can afford a $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 purchase to take on coursing. You're probably not going to be offering a whole lot of value. You can give them more one-on-one time if you choose to do that, but even then, is it really worth it at that point? So for us, we value being able to have significantly more students. That means we're going to have a lot less successful students, because, you know, there's a lot of people who will just buy it and literally never log in again. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. But I would rather risk it that way and have the price lower and have a lower perceived value for the couple of people each time that come out that go from making nothing to living their freaking dream life. It happens every launch. Most of them are too busy to ever even really reveal themselves. But diving through students, a lot of people end up so successful that they literally can't even continue the program. So I value that more. And a lot of people go from it being a hobby to being a somewhat sustainable side job. And that's better than nothing. Even at the $1,000 price point, I think that's fair to go from making a couple $100 a year to making a few $1,000s a year. I think every level is sustainable. And the fact that you can buy from us at a relatively sustainable price and then make that money back, usually within the first year, is special to me.
Well,
I love watching you have a better life.
My philosophy has always been that once someone has purchased from you, when you have offered something that high level, they should never have to hit another paywall. And I think that that's where most coaches, like, they talk about, like, oh, once they've made one purchase, they're more likely to make more purchases, and you can dangle more offers. And that's like the number one message I get in my inbox that's like, I could help you scale Handmade Alpha Academy to $1 million, you know, using upsell, blah, blah, blah. I don't upsell. When you get in, whether you joined me, you know, 6 months ago or 5 years ago, I try to ensure that you're forever getting value. The you know, newest thing that we introduced 3 years ago was the Alpha Holiday Boot Camp, where students, even if they join me, you know, when we first started HAA, every single year they can look forward to the boot camp, and they get that for free every year. And we always make sure that we're changing it and updating it. And, you know, the program is updated. And those students are still able to reach out to me and ask questions. What irks me the most about the individual that you guys are likely talking about is that this person doesn't meet the promises that they make. So they make promises that they don't. And you can just look this up. You can look up, I'm not going to say their name. Please don't say their name in the chat. They literally go after people with, they try to sue people who talk badly about them. That's why we just don't say their name. But just look up their name and type in Reddit. I don't wish any
ill will on them. I hope that they get success from their business, and I hope that they treat their customers right.
That's the issue. I don't even care that they give bad advice. You know, live and learn. I don't like it, but, you know, that's their business. However, I don't like what they do to their people. They don't respect their people, and that irks me.
Even, you know, we had a coach that we worked with first when we got into the industry, and please don't put her name in here either, but she started doing the exact same stuff, and you guys probably watched, those of you who have been around for a long time. We distanced ourselves almost immediately because it was delving into anger tactics and aggression and unhealthy competitiveness. It's not my vibe, dog. I'll take less money every year over I'm not.
I want to be able to sleep at night. Like,
I want to be proud of what I do. I'm proud of a lot of you. I'm proud of most of you.
I am proud of those of you who aren't currently selling, but you show up every Friday with the desire to learn. You know, the fact that there are some of you who aren't even making, you know, any sales at all, but you show up, you are absorbing, you're like sponges. Like you are the ones that I have more hope in than the ones who are just like, how do I make $100,000 next year? Like those are the ones that I'm just, you know, that's like a little kid saying, I'm going to be a doctor when I grow up. Like, you know, that's cute. It's cute that you think that you want to be a doctor when you grow up. But the reality is that only a small percentage of those kids are going to become doctors. Same with you guys. You know, only a small percentage of you are going to become $100,000 sellers. But I have more hope in those of you who aren't selling now, but who are learning and spending that time trying to grow and evolve.
How do I lose 25 pounds in 3 hours?
Well, it's literally the same thing. You see the same tactics from those weird like diet pills that you see with coaches, and it's icky. But
sounds too good to be true. It is too good to be true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's just how it is. I hate busting the cherry on things like sales tactics and things, because while they sound super obvious, they're things that a lot of people don't use. For example, as an experiment with our boot camp, we do use a sales tactic. You guys notice it's after the boot camp, so by next year it'll be all new people that won't remember this, but the 3 different pricing tiers.
It's based on Dan Ariely's making one price point like the obvious choice.
We did not do that our first time around with the boot camp. We started doing that. No, we didn't. We started doing it our second year because we were both rereading that book.
I'm pretty sure we did it the first year.
Maybe we did it the first year. I don't remember. But that having 3 items to select from psychologically is better. And we've considered options for HAA for that, but I can't. There's no
other thing that we could offer.
Is, it's already to a point where churn is so bad with payment plans that I might be getting rid of them in exchange for something like Klarna. Because stinkers make it to a point where we're literally losing tens of thousands of dollars a year at this point. Before it was like 5 or 6 people per launch, you know, whatever. People have credit cards lapse, people die or whatever, and their estates don't pay for things, whatever. But it's getting to a point where it's like a third to a half of people, and I can't afford it. So I'm going to probably do one more without credit. I don't believe in credit, but if it gets to a point where a third of our income is disappearing, unfortunately, I'm going to have to replace it with a credit system.
Yeah, kind of stinks.
It sucks, but with the state of the economy the way that it is right now, when you live off of a specific amount and your business costs a certain amount to run, you can't be like, well, I might get this much. I might get 30 to 40% less than that. You can't. It's not functionally.
We're also, you know, as we've expanded, I think that we're attracting an audience of individuals who want to make money quickly. And then when they get into HAA and they realize, oh, this is work. Ew. Yuck. I have to do work. Yucky. And then they just, you know, they ditch the program. And unfortunately, you know, that's the nature of business. There are going to be people like that. We all see them on Facebook. They're like, why am I not making any sales? And you look at their shop and you're like, why aren't you actually putting effort into the things you're trying to sell?
Yep.
It's going to happen. But anyway. Enough
of that. Does running a sale over a certain percentage improve your visibility? So running a sale doesn't affect you algorithmically in any capacity.
Well, I mean, there's an ads algorithm.
But it does not affect your regular algorithm. It has no effect.
Right. Well, if your listing is selling as an ad, like you're making sales, then those sales and any positive reviews left will potentially help your listing quality score. But what you don't want to do is think, you know, you can't just say, I'm going to run my business on ads. There are a lot of coaches and YouTubers who talk about, you know, turn on all your ads. Don't burn cash to keep warm. My advice for ads has always been the same. Look at your listings, identify the ones that are performing better than others, you know, find your best sellers and amplify those with ads. Because if they're already performing pretty well on their own, you know that there's a demand for those products. The listing quality scores are already pretty decent. You've got good keywords clearly because people are already finding them, and your photos are probably good enough that, you know, they're catching the eye of shoppers in search. So if you take that thing that you know people like and you increase how many eyes are seeing it, you're more likely to make a return on that investment rather than just putting blanket ads over your whole shop and potentially, you know, having more listings underperform than what you would have perform, and then you don't even end up making a return on that investment.
On your video settings, I've always wondered why you don't mirror the video so it's not flipped incorrectly. Which way do you see it? Me on the left. I'm sitting on the left, so it is mirrored.
Technically, it's a perfect mirror.
Yeah, it's a perfect mirror.
And if we flipped it now,
people would complain. We have by accident in past streams, and people lose their minds.
Because, yeah.
Like, you're sitting in the wrong spot. Maybe it's because they crop me off the screen, so they just want to see you.
Yeah, I'm literally here. You're seeing it like a mirror.
I'm on the left, she's on the right. I think that's how you guys see us, right? Oh, I'm seeing it. La 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 la. Scroll. Damn it. Where are the questions? Do we know if the increase in Chat GPT views are converting, or is it just a bunch of sellers trying it out for themselves?
So what we're seeing are referrals, and I think by definition referrals would be, are referrals those who check out?
I don't know if they're going to be treated as referrals because it's agentic. It's not. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be treated.
Let me double check in the sites tool and see if we have any additional info. I thought referrals were direct checkouts, because if PayPal is the second most referring, wouldn't that indicate that it is a transactional referral? These are the websites that are driving the most users to this site. So it is traffic based. I always see that argument of, isn't it just sellers testing it out? I'm sure that there is a small percentage that's sellers, but you have to think about also the number of buyers versus the number of sellers. There's no way to eliminate the sellers from a data set. However, sellers are also buyers. I don't know any Etsy sellers who don't also shop on Etsy. I'm assuming that most of you also, occasionally buy yourself something on Etsy simply because you want to support the platform. I am a serial Etsy shopper. I am constantly waiting for an Etsy package.
I buy my cereal at the grocery store.
You're very witty, Mr. Moore.
We said E-Rank, the butt cheek logo now.
I know.
E-Rank. Cheeky results for cheeky folks.
I wasn't a fan of the E-Rank branding.
I didn't
like
the whole rebrand in general. I preferred the little cartoony people.
Only because those were my idea. But
you're assuming that I have an inherent bias like that when I don't. I don't always like everything that you do, and you know that.
Oh, sorry. No, I think that I think I'm getting used to it, and I think everybody else is too. We just wanted to look a little more professional. We wanted to. I don't know. I'm not fully in love with it, but I'm starting.
I'm not against doing it. I don't like it as much. It's okay. I don't like the green. Everybody's doing this green, and yeah.
I kind of like the green.
It's corporate droll.
I kind of like the green.
Yeah. Baby poop green.
What do you guys think? Green or blue?
E-Rank Google Analytics question. On the dashboard for traffic sources, will that eventually show traffic sent from Chat GPT, or is it already there and I'm just not getting any hits from it yet?
So we Pam was actually checking that, and we hadn't had it. Oh, no, it should. It actually, I think she did say that it should pop up. Let me actually see if I have any hits from Chat GPT. I believe that Chat GPT should be. No, I don't have any. Yeah, I think that Chat GPT should be popping in there. Feel free, if anybody can pull up their traffic stats tool and let me know if they see Chat GPT as a top referring site. I mean, I would love to know. Where?
Goodbye, Deb.
See you later. Have a good weekend. I'm just double checking within the actual traffic stats tab. La la la, social, other, this month.
You said green was the only thing she did like about it. See, the green is the thing I don't like about it, because at the same time, so many small businesses were rebranding to this green color, and it's more of the same. It's less unique in my eyes, but that's not, it's whatever. Everybody's got their own preferences. Yeah. I think it does, this green color with the goldish orange gives off more of a professional bougie kind of feel, which is what most professional bougie companies use. They use bold greens and reds and blues and blacks.
I feel like it's like a chalkboard. It's like a chalkboard green to me. That's
this green is the sophisticated green. Like if you were to slap gold on top of this, it would feel very much like a luxury hotel.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think it feels like a chalkboard, and I feel like the E looks like it was drawn with chalk. We've got a new designer who did the E, and he's done, some of the little doodles and things that you now see. We've added doodles. If you look at like the homepage for E-Rank, there's little doodles and things.
Bougie green cheeks.
Bougie green cheeks.
Was he not allowed to talk to you guys? They're referring to the guy at Etsy that was doing the shops. No, we're assuming that he likely got to, this is entirely anecdotal.
We have no idea.
We don't know why he got fired, but I do find it not that coincidental that less than a month after we did the whole survey thing and sent him people to be reinstated, that he no longer worked at Etsy. What are you doing?
I'm just searching his name. Don't share my screen, obviously.
Yeah, definitely don't.
I know his name. I just want to see if there's anything.
Now works at H&R Block. Don't log in. Don't do all this. This is too much. Yeah. He works at H&R Block now.
I'm sure he holds like a high.
Customer service executive.
And which is what he was at Etsy. He was the head of customer service. He went to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is not.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but he was no longer working at Etsy like 2 or 3 weeks after we did that initiative. So we're assuming that likely because he was helping an outsider, that's unfair advantage. I could see as a corporate company why that would be no-nos.
Vice president
of customer care.
So he stayed busy.
Maybe he just moved on to a higher position. Again, it's entirely anecdotal.
Sure, they could have just offered him more money. For all we know, we have no idea.
Temu have copied many Etsy sellers.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And
they're awful.
From what I've heard, relatively decent at removing listings when you report them.
Yeah, I have seen that. Now that doesn't mean that a bunch of other sellers aren't going to pop up and try to do the same thing, but
does Etsy have some sort of shadow ban that limits shop viewership after having 3 or so open orders? I ship immediately, and as soon as it's scanned at USPS, I get more favorites and sales within minutes.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I can't answer that question. I know for a long time they had that system where, like, if you're behind on a lot of orders, but that wasn't like a shadow thing. It was pretty public. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the only shadow ban that Etsy has is on adult products. We have seen that with, mostly anecdotal evidence, but it was one of our students plus a lot of other people in the industry. He did the research and proved pretty unequivocally that they were shadow banning. So I don't think that they do it in that. They maybe slow down traffic. Again, anecdotal. We've heard a lot of people say this, but there's no scientific proof. It could just be perceptive. It's hard to tell without sitting down with a couple hundred shops to like see that it happens every single time with exact time frames and things like that. There's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable, especially if you're a newer shop as they're testing the waters with you as a seller. I could see them doing something like that. I don't find that to be necessarily unreasonable to an extent, as long as it's not like, oh, I'm getting an influx of customers and they're stinting my shop and I'm no longer getting sales because that's a problem. But again, there's no way to prove that, at least just off the data you have there.
Yeah, Tino, we talked about the 20 images. Honestly, it's great for those who need them, who might have like a lot of variations, but it's not factored in algorithmically. So if you don't need to show 20 images, don't worry about it. It's not factored into our visibility or anything like that. It's just, I think that Etsy was they wanted a quick win. Basically, it's something that I doubt was hard work on their part.
Right,
and
change a 10 to a 20 and add more data allotment for it. Probably not that hard.
I can see it being beneficial for some of the sellers who have lots of variants that they need to show. But
I don't have a problem with it as long as it's not something they spend a lot of time doing, because there's so many other things that they need to be done. Right. I thought Etsy was populating alt text with AI, so we don't need to add our own.
They are, and it's awful.
It's bad.
Go through all of your listings and double check what they have populated. There was even a couple sellers who said that they populated in trademark terms when the product was not, like onesie, for example. That term is owned by Gerber, and the seller sold like the baby bodysuits, but Etsy's AI put in onesie. And that could, I don't know if there's any way for keywords within alt text to get flagged. However, you definitely don't just allow Etsy to AI generate anything in your shop. You should never allow Etsy or allow AI to blindly go in and add things without you making sure that you're double checking and researching.
Mm-hmm. Etsy put my shop on vacation mode due to ID verification. How will this affect my bestseller badge? I don't think it will, assuming you get it resolved in a reasonable time frame.
Yeah, bestseller. So we don't have any metric or formula on what justifies a bestseller badge. We believe that it is based on an order volume over a certain amount of time. Not necessarily how many sales a product has received, more just the volume in a specific time frame, which we have no idea what that even is. But like Mark said, I assume that as long as you get it resolved relatively fast, it shouldn't. However, even if that bestseller badge disappears, just know that it's just something. It's just a little cool thing that Etsy gives you to look, to stand out a little bit in search pages, but in terms of the algorithm, it's not contributing.
How do you check your alt text?
When you're within Etsy, go in and click to edit a listing, and when you're in a listing where your photo slots are, you should have, I think it's a little pencil icon, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let me just pull one up. Yeah, there's a little pencil icon. No, that's not alt text. Cancel. Discard. La, 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 la. Yeah, click on any of your images, and there will be a plus alt text button. Here, can you just share for just a minute? When you click on any image, you'll see this option to click to add alt text. So just click on any item in your shop and add your alt text.
Yeah, and people are talking about a lot of people calling her on her comments lately too. Insane.
Who, the person?
Yeah. The thing is, when it comes to our course material, if we were to get called out for something that was incorrect or outdated or something,
we'll fix it.
We'll fix it. We'll call our mistakes what they are,
right.
But the material for the most part has been the same, other than like systems that have updated that we've had to update information for. Like,
right. Here's my thing. Just always call out bad info when you see it and back it up with your research. That way, because the person that you're talking about, the person that you are talking to who is publishing the bad info, they're probably just going to delete your comment or, say something snarky back, because they are in the business of not being wrong. They are trying to position themselves as an Etsy god, a know-all, source of information who cannot be disputed. And that's not a person that you want to follow regardless. Always follow the ones who are like, hey, help me understand this better. Or I run surveys because I don't have all the answers. So sometimes I'll run surveys, or I'll ask you guys, like, what are your experiences with this? Or I'll have you comment on my YouTube videos. I'll always ask a question like, how many of you are experiencing this? So I can analyze your guys' comments and formulate responses. Be very wary of anybody who positions themselves as having all of the answers. And when you notice something like that taking place, don't be afraid to speak up about it. Not because that person is going to change the way that they teach or speak, but because the people who follow them, who go to that YouTube video and who see your response, maybe it'll make those other Etsy sellers look at it and stop and think for a minute. Really, that's all I try to do with you guys. I don't want you guys to go, bully this person.
No, absolutely not. I don't wish any ill will on them at all.
Anybody who gives advice like this. But you should always try to, if the advice is dangerous or could get other sellers' shops like shut down, which we know information like that exists, don't be afraid to say that. Be respectful, or as respectful as possible, but do it in a way that you're helping to educate those who are in the comments section, not the creator of the content. Because the creator of the content, if they are that, what's the word that I'm looking for? You know what? I'll just say up their own butts. If they're that up their own butts that they are unwilling to listen to feedback, and they are going to pursue everyone who talks badly about them with legal action, they're probably not going to be swayed by anything that you say. But do your best to educate those who are actually being negatively impacted. And that's all I try to do here. I don't wish ill will on anyone. I just would hope that my presence here on the internet at least helps people to do their own research and to think analytically when things like this occur. And, you know, I hope that that's something that you guys do in everything that you do, whether it be Etsy advice or, you know, Mark and I just watched this big study about how everything now is sold as protein. The word protein has turned into a buzzword, even when a substantial amount of protein has not been added in addition to a food. They are utilizing the word protein as a buzzword in order.
Bullcrap. It's entirely bullcrap. 9 times out of 10, it's bullcrap. And the rules for what you can consider protein are so relaxed that, like, the supplement industry had to create their own regulations for it because people were using, like, protein peptides that do not bind as proteins in your system and are basically worthless, that just turn into fiber in your poop. And that's not regulated in food. So a lot of times you'll see something like, oh, it's got 10 grams of protein, but in reality it's like 10 grams of protein aminos, and they do nothing for you.
Right, they're lacking the essential branch chain amino acids.
Main brands aren't going to do that, like main box brands, but like those little like pop-up brands, they're the ones you really got to watch for.
No, we saw it with oatmeal. We saw it with Quaker oatmeal. I think it was.
It did. To be fair, it does have more protein than their standard oatmeal by weight, but not enough to justify the price increase.
But the serving size was smaller, and if you were to eat, or it was just bigger, it was just a bigger serving size, and if you were to eat 2 packets of regular oatmeal, the caloric
would be about the same, but the protein is still technically lower. It does technically have more protein, but not enough to justify the price increase per packet.
Anyway, but with that in mind, we're hoping that in everything that you do, you're doing your own research and thinking analytically and not just taking everything that anybody says on the internet at face value.
Yeah, it says, or gluten. My shampoo says gluten-free. Gluten is one of those things. People are going to attack me for it, so I'm not even going to get all into it.
Celiac disease.
Celiac disease is what you have to watch out for. Gluten sensitivity isn't real. So based on my last research on the science, if you do not have celiac disease, now there is some science that like it can cause bloating, this, that, or the other, but it's the same as like other things that you don't eat for a long time. Like if you never eat any fruits like kiwi or pineapple, if you eat kiwi or pineapple, it's probably going to make your mouth sore and your throat sore because you don't eat kiwi or pineapple that often.
It's abrasive. It's
normal.
Abrasive
Yeah,
fruit.
of course you're sensitive to something you don't put in your body, but in general, it's something you get used to. But that's the point is, we like to try to teach you guys to think for yourselves. I'm not going to teach critical thinking here because it's something that you go to school for. Critical thinking is a very in-depth subject. You can buy books, Critical Thinking for Dummies and stuff like that. But we try to help you realize that everyone is trying to sell you something at all times, and if there's a catch to it, it's usually in your face, like now with more protein, when the like serving size is a third of what it used to be. So just pay attention, look at things through a bigger lens, take the lens and open it up a little bit and look at the bigger picture. Every time you pick something up and it's selling something to you, it's probably lying to you, or at the very least, white lies, embellishing on information.
And we live the same way.
Yes, people are the same way. People are the same way. Politicians are the same way.
It's all the same.
They're all selling you something, and it's illusions of grandeur.
Guys, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you.
Think big.
This upcoming Tuesday, I have a video coming out that you guys are gonna want to watch. I sat on Wednesday and did an E-Rank deep dive. of all of the trends that I could find. In fact, I had to put a limit on it. I found more trends. I don't even know what to do with them all. I found so many. I feel like I need to like publish something with all of them because the video was just getting unruly. But I just sat and found as many trends as I could that shot up in September, like out of nowhere. There are just things that gained and I'm assuming it's holiday shoppers, despite the fact that Etsy traffic is very low, Amazon traffic is very low, eBay traffic is very low. They're all following a consistent low search pattern where they all dropped off around the same time. So, if you're noticing low traffic, lower than normal, everybody is across all e-commerce, not just Etsy. It's the economic climate, obviously. But with that in mind, these were trends that, despite that big drop-off, these were things that shoppers were actively searching for. And I think that it's pretty significant. So this trend analysis, I'm going to cover as many as I can in probably like a 12-ish minute video. And some of them are pretty cool. It's I try to cover as many different like categories as I can. There's some wedding things in there. There are some animals, different animals, which can be applied to most things. There's some stuff that would work for POD products. It's going to be a really good trend report. And then somebody asked when I'm going to be doing my trend report where I analyze Christmas items from like Michael's and Target and stuff. I actually wanted to do that this week. Target has still not released their holiday trend things, which is odd because they normally do that in October. So I'm just waiting for more. I could technically, if you guys want that next week, we could skip Target and just focus on Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and I can try to find a couple other sources. Up to you if that's something that you guys still want me to do. I didn't go to Home Goods, and I found some fantastic holiday trends this year with color palettes. All solid black, everything in black. I really loved that. There was also everything in black and red buffalo plaid, which was really cool. All gold and all silver was a trend. And then those like pinky pastel, like pastel green, pastel blue, pastel pink, pastel purple. We saw that with Halloween stuff, all those pretty pastels. That also has carried over, almost like frosted gumdrop colors. But the solid black Christmas items I really liked. When you go into like a home goods store and you see a whole section, like a whole wall of just the black Christmas items together, you wouldn't think that looks really nice, but I could see it being in a really cozy cabin. So anyway, yeah, maybe we'll do that next week. Black. So let me know.
And four-legged designs that have a big brain, not a tiny one. No, it's not about the size of the boat. It's how well you can row it.
That's true.
Doesn't matter how smart you are, and obviously there are some neurodivergencies that do not allow for more critical thinking because your brain is just like, cat! Like, we get it.
Right.
Some people don't have that, but optimizing what you have is the best that you can do. Play mind games.
Critical thinking, I do want to make sure that we point out that critical thinking is not being able to think deeply. I think that
it's a learned skill.
Everyone is capable of thinking deeply. Critical thinking is the skill of taking two things that have nothing to do with each other and finding the patterns that can, that bring these data sets together. And
it's being able to think in branching paths.
It's an abstract style of thinking. If you guys want a good book that helps with critical thinking, there's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a pretty cool book. It's a slog of a read in terms of like books that I recommend. I seldom recommend it because I don't think that it's one that very many people are going to find entertaining. I actually had trouble with it, but Thinking Fast and Slow.
Critical thinking isn't easy. It's breaking your current patterns on thinking into more logical pathways and sometimes illogical pathways in order to form conclusions at the end of the path, or multiple paths. And
sometimes the conclusions don't necessarily make sense and there are gaps in the data.
Right, and no one's a master of critical thinking. It's a concept. It's not an innate human skill. It's something that has to be taught and actively used.
Exactly.
It's like riding a bike.
Exercising it.
Yes, exactly. So we love you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday for a new video. We'll be here next Friday for another live stream, I guess. Bye.
See ya!
Bye. Where's the button? There it is. Bye.
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 Bye.